Welcome back to the Better Lives podcast. I'm your host, Caitlin.
And I'm Eric.
Today we have a very special episode. We're thrilled to announce our first guest, Luisa Herrera, Chief Experience Officer at Central Willamette Credit Union. We're so excited to dive into her story and learn more about her passion for creating better lives for our members. So Luisa, to start, can you tell us about you and your experience with Central Willamette and what you do for our members?
Absolutely. Well, first of all, thank you for having me.
Of course.
I'm honored.
We're excited to have you here. Thank
Very
you for
excited.
showing up. Yeah, no, we know you're really busy, so we really do
It means
appreciate
a lot
taking
to
the time.
us.
Well, you're too kind. I pretend to be busy. Yes. So my role at Central Willamette. So the title Chief Experience Officer, I had a previous board member asked me, does that mean that you're the most experienced person? I wish. No, that's not what it means.
My automatic answer would be yes, always. I'm the most experienced.
Ask
Yes,
me
you should.
anything.
Yes, always a yes. Sorry.
How I would summarize it, or I would equate it to a chief operations officer in the sense that that's what people can relate to better. I, in essence, oversee 3 areas, and that is the retail branches. We have 10 of them, the operations department, as well as the contact center, which also entails digital banking. So when I say that, what I also include is, if you had to boil it down, it's all about what are we doing for our members and how are we doing it? We are here to build better lives, clearly. That's our motto. And how are we doing that? Are we making them feel special, unique, personalized, like we're of service to them? And so my job is to make sure that that's happening and to find out who is excelling at it so that we can continue to do that, and where we're falling short so that we can improve it.
That's a big thing because, like, a lot of times people think experience, they think personal experience within the branch or just the overall, like how, the flow of how, like of going into a branch, but no one ever really thinks about the back end of with operations. Like, how is it actually being applicated, and like, is it actually rolling out and doing the things properly? So I'm sure there's a lot of data that you probably track a lot of, and like, how do you incorporate that into the experience aspect of it?
My goodness, data. Yes, there's tons of it. It's, I think, known in every industry that is almost the issue. We have too much data. How do you
Well, in the past,
slice
it was like we have all this data, but we're not using it, right? So now we're trying to use it.
Well, that's just it. Like, how do you leverage it? And I like what you call out, Eric, about the support departments, so operations, but also everywhere else, because everyone in the credit union is geared towards delivering the services and the products that we need to help members with their finances. And so it's teamwork. And so when you have information about where are the pain points for our members, that's where we can identify, wait a minute, it's not just the front line, is a process that fell short or took too long. How long? And so you aggregate the findings like, oh, this isn't one that happens more often in this area. What would be the future state or the desired state? And sometimes we know that, sometimes we need to ask the members, but many times our members just tell us that took too long. So we need to understand, well, why did it take too long? Is it okay that it took too long? Is it, so it's a lot of analysis, interpretation, and prioritization.
A lot of process mapping too, probably. It's just like you have a structure in place, and then, like you said, where is it broken? How is it actually being implemented? So I'm sure that comes into play a lot.
Yes. And what's beautiful, it's the camaraderie and the teamwork that happens throughout different departments, because we each own different pieces. And so when you open up a process, to your point, the process mapping or journey mapping, however, it's slightly different. But when you open it up and you invite other voices, that's when, like, oh, wait, we have that touch point with a member. Oh, we send that letter. Oh, did marketing check that letter? Like, oh, does compliance agree with that letter? So you just uncover so many things. And that's all about the member. I would also like to, if you're all right with this, share the other part. When we say Chief Experience Officer, it's not Chief Member Experience. It's also staff experience. Yes, I am not a human resources department of sorts. However, I am very aware that for us to deliver delightful experiences for our members,
Employees have to be
yes,
happy. Yeah.
our team members must be having a good experience. So I enjoy my passion is connecting with people and getting to know them, our internal team members, to make sure that they feel welcome and taken care of, and like they work in a warm and inviting environment where their voice is important and heard. So that way, they will provide the same experience to our members.
That's super important because, like, I've only been here for a few months, but I've already noticed a lot of the initiatives, just the value they put behind employees and the extra work and going the extra mile. I've seen a lot of that so far. And then even during company holidays, they gave each department a little bit of a budget to go out and spend on, like, hey, this is a holiday. We want you to go and do something special for everybody, for each department. And I thought that was pretty cool because the experience is, you don't have a business without members, so at least we wouldn't, and then we also don't have a really good business without employees. So it's like one of those things. That's another important part, is like taking care of that and finding good talent and then fostering a healthy environment for that to grow.
Absolutely. To your point about the holidays, not only do we have a budget, which I think most companies have that, our CEO personally delivers an additional, like a little something, a little gift, a little popcorn treat, whatever it is, but she makes sure to take the time. I thought that was so unique and special. She makes the time to meet with all of us. We get to know her, we get to chat with her, ask her questions, or just joke around. She's just so personable and sets a tone for the rest of us.
She's amazing.
Yeah, well, even like employees like me, Stacy knows my name.
She does.
And whenever she sees me, she says my name, and that means so much. Just knowing that I'm not just an employee, I'm a person and I'm recognized.
Yeah.
I've only been here for a few months, and like Stacy, I remember day one, I was like, I know that lady, and then she comes up to me and says my name, and I was like blown away.
You're like, I've never talked to you, but
I've
you know
never
my
seen
name.
you. Like, I'm that third day here, and she came up, hey Eric, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. I had no idea she would take the time, but it's just those extra steps and like creating such a unique experience. We are a not-for-profit, so that's really shows in the way the company culture here.
That's right. We could talk about hours about her, and she would not like it because she's very humble. And so let's embarrass her some more. But no, her memory is insane.
She's great. Yeah. Let's get to the next question. So I guess kind of a two-parter. Tell us a little bit about your experience in the financial world, as well as tell us a little bit about what sparked your passion to move for the credit union movement.
Of course. Well, I started in banking, the for-profit side of the financial industry at a bank as a personal banker back in the day. And I have stories such as, I was out of training and sitting at my desk, and a person came in and wanted to open a CD. And I said, of course, gladly. I'll be right back. Give me just a second. I went to the back. I'm like, what's a CD? So that's how much I knew. And I had a business degree, but still I did not know much about specifics.
What soundtrack did you want?
Right. And it was 2006. So CDs were still a thing.
They were still there. Yeah.
Anyways, so fast forward a little bit after that, I was still in the for-profit side, and I became a branch manager. I had sales goals, and then I learned about this credit union down the street. I didn't quite know about credit unions. A little embarrassing, but I just didn't. And frankly, I think that's the biggest problem with the movement, that most people do not know about credit unions, what they are, how they're different, why they're much better for the community.
That's a big pain point we're trying to touch on, especially with this podcast.
Yes,
we want to tell people why we're different. People my age especially, they use like Chase and those online banks. Those are super big right now. I tell everybody I meet, hey, go join a credit union. They're awesome.
Thank you for contributing to spreading the word, because it's incumbent upon us. So anyways, I had these sales goals, and there was a credit union down the street from where I worked, and I found myself sending all my customers, right, because I was at a bank, to the credit union down the street, because they were able to approve them for car loans faster and at way lower rates. And so I did this for about 6 months, until finally I paused one day and like, okay, how why? Like, how can they do this? And why can't they? Or why isn't there profit to be made? Are they making less profit? And so I did my little homework, and I found out that it was a co-op that is not for profit, and that the incentive was to help their own members, like a co-op does. Mm-hmm. So I found myself getting a job over at the credit union, the exact one, just down the street, and I never looked back.
That's awesome. In your own words, kind of go back on that credit union movement. What, for the listeners out there, just kind of like still fuzzy on what a credit union is. In your definition, what's the value and what do you find valuable about credit unions?
Thank you for pausing and clarify that. It's a not-for-profit financial co-op. So I'm sorry, I'm a storyteller. So I'm going to bring us back to the days of the famine in Germany back in the 1800s. So because I think it's a very easy example to follow. There was a time when there was, no food, like shortages of food. And so different farmers came together. One had milk, one had eggs, one had oil, another one had flour. So they came together and they made bread, and everybody would partake in enjoying the bread. And now they solved their famine problem. And then it occurred to them, what if we did the same with our money? So somebody's going to need some money. We pool together our money, and so we can benefit for when we need it. And somebody gets interest, and somebody gets paid a little interest. And that's, in essence, how co-ops started, and especially the credit union movement. Then it came to Canada. Anyways, yes, I have a degree on that, so I get a little obsessive. Anyways, and so in essence, what it is we just have members pool their money together, and we borrow from it, and those that are contributing to those funds get some interest. And so nobody's getting richer, which is fine. If that's a for-profit way to run a business, that's fine. We're just different in that we are not here to make a profit. We're here to serve members. Therefore, I don't understand why everybody is not with a credit union. Like, it's just better for everybody. But one day we'll get there.
Yeah, the big not-for-profit thing was a big one for me. I mean, back in my college days when I was trying to find my own bank, I was like, stick it to the man. You know what I mean? I didn't want to go with any of the big banks. Plus, it was like the big financial crisis of 2008 and like a lot of that stuff. So I started really looking into credit unions. But yeah, the not-for-profit, it's not that we're trying to be profitable. It's not our only focus. Our focus is growing our member base, growing within the community, and bigger aspirations than our bottom line, it's a unique culture shift for me working in private industries and stuff like that. It's like, oh, we need more. More is always better. So that doesn't seem to be the case here, which is great. And I like that. And it's a great environment to work in. So check out credit unions.
Yes. The goal is to help more people.
Yeah. We've got one more question for you, Caitlin.
Yeah. So we serve a pretty diverse community here at Central Willamette. I'm wondering, how are you working to ensure that our Spanish-speaking members have access to the same high-quality services that everybody else does?
That's right. We are very fortunate to be able to be considered a CDFI, which is a community development financial institution. And so this is a designation that we get for helping a certain group of people which need us the most. And frankly, that fills us with pride and joy. And for us to be able to serve both that market and also the Hispanic market, we need to have a couple of things. We need to have people that want to help, which is a common denominator in our credit union, and most credit unions, I would argue, and have the tools necessary to help them. In this case, the ability to speak Spanish. Now, it's a fallacy to say that all Hispanics are Spanish speaking. So when we say Spanish speaking, we are saying like, okay, the first generations, we want to help them because they're new to a country, they're new to a system. Even if they have been here for many years, the finance world might still be a question mark. Credit, getting in debt, all those are scary things as they are, let alone in a different language. So we need to make sure that we hire the people that know how to, speak the language, that care about people and building trust. And then we need to have the products that benefit all members, that are accessible, that are low fees or no fees, that have low rates. And so you put those things together, those ingredients together, you start to build a reputation for helping people, and then the word spreads, and then we deliver on our mission of building better lives.
Yeah, no, that's great, because I mean, financial literacy is lacking in any language. Really doesn't matter, English or Spanish. So having those solutions, and like you said, just having the tools and resources available to said demographics is huge. I mean, it's not always available. So having that here is something that's pretty cool.
Yeah, and we're only getting started. We need to hire more people, train them, and provide the technology. So now we're implementing, I'm going to throw this in because we're about to launch it, an branch schedule or appointment scheduling ability for services with us. So people can go online and schedule an appointment. It's going to go live at the end of the month. Don't want to jinx it, knock on wood. And we will have Spanish speaking, people that are Spanish speakers as resources for our members, so they can schedule those appointments in Spanish right away from the get-go. So.
Oh, nice. So they have an option to just,
that's right.
Doesn't
That's
have to be a specific service. It just has to be like, I just need to speak with someone in Spanish.
That's
so
right.
they have that readily available. Yeah. That's cool. Well, we just want to say thank you again for coming out. This was wonderful. I mean, again, your first guest on here. So, did not disappoint. We definitely want to look forward to seeing more from you in the future. So.
Yeah, it means so much to us that you're willing to do this with us. So we just want to say thank you again.
Well, there is a lot to learn from all sorts of different departments. So I am honored that you thought to invite me. Thank you for the opportunity, and I look forward to coming back.
Yeah, I'll have to have you back for sure. I want to thank you all for listening today. You can find us on Instagram and Facebook at Central WCU. You find us on all podcast platforms. Just search the Better Lives podcast. And we are so happy you listened to us today.
Thanks, everybody.
The information provided here is for informational purposes only and does not constitute financial advice. Consult with a qualified financial advisor before making any financial decisions. The opinions expressed are our own and do not necessarily reflect the views of Central Willamette Credit Union.